Today we will take a deep dive into one of the most compelling and peculiar narratives in the Old Testament. This is the saga of Balaam, a prophet extraordinarily gifted with the power to both bless and curse, and his unusual encounter with a talking donkey. Set during the period when the Israelites were traveling through the desert towards the Promised Land, this story is not only an account of divine intervention, but also a rich source of teachings about morality and the essence of obedience. At the beginning of our account, we find Balak, the king of Moab, consumed with fear as he witnessed the approach of the Israelites to the borders of his kingdom. Worried about the possible defeat of his people and the subsequent usurpation of their lands, Balak makes a desperate decision. He sends emissaries to Balaam and Pethor, loaded with gifts and with a dark request that the prophet curse the people of Israel, opening the way for Moab to defeat them and expel them from the region once and for all. Although the offer includes great rewards and high prestige, Balaam is a man who seeks the divine will before acting. When consulting God, the answer is clear and direct. He should not accompany the messengers, as the people of Israel are under divine blessing. Welcome to a journey through the least explored pages of the Bible, where we will uncover the fascinating story of Balaam and the donkey that spoke. This account not only tests our understanding of miracles, but also reveals profound lessons about divine intervention and human morality. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the enriching details of the next videos, as each one is a key part of building a more solid and understanding faith. Let's discover the divine mysteries together. However, the story takes an even more intriguing turn with Balak's persistence. Not taking no for an answer, the king of Moab sends a second entourage, more imposing and influential than the first, with even more tempting promises. In this second encounter, God instructs Balaam to go with the messengers, but with a crucial warning. He must speak only what God commands him. Equipped with this new divine guidance, Balaam mounts his donkey, oblivious to the supernatural events that were about to unfold on his journey. Balaam's story, although ancient, resonates today, offering valuable lessons about the importance of following divine guidance above worldly temptations and personal desires. At the heart of our narrative, as Balaam continues his journey, a mysterious and divine event unfolds, revealing the deep layers of celestial intervention and the sensitivity of the humblest beings. In an act of divine protection, an angel of the Lord stands on the road, an adversary invisible to human eyes, but visible only to Balaam's ass. This encounter occurs not once but 3 separate times, each with increasing demonstrations of celestial intervention and animal understanding. On all 3 occasions, the angel strategically places himself in the path, and the donkey, sensing the celestial presence, makes crucial decisions to deviate, each time saving his master's life. In the first, the animal strays into a field. In the second, he squeezes himself against a wall, and in the third, pressed until he has nowhere to escape, the donkey chooses to lie down on the floor. At each detour, Balaam, blinded by his mission and frustration, reacts violently, unable to see the imminent danger that only his ass perceives. The climax of this celestial drama occurs when, after the third and most tense intervention, something extraordinary and unprecedented happens. The donkey turns to Balaam and, in a miracle that defies nature itself, speaks. With simple words, the donkey questions the reason for Balaam's attacks, expressing his confusion and pain. Balaam, surprised and undoubtedly shaken, responds to the donkey, treating the animal's speech as something almost natural, perhaps indicating his state of shock and the gradual realization of his own spiritual blindness. At this crucial point, God intervenes directly, opening Balaam's eyes, who finally sees the angel with his sword drawn, ready to act. The angel then rebukes Balaam, highlighting the donkey's loyal and sensitive behavior, who saw the danger that the prophet himself could not see. It is revealed that if the ass had not turned aside, Balaam would have met an untimely end by the angel's sword. This moment of revelation serves not only as a critique of Balaam's behavior, but as a profound reflection on perception, obedience, and divine mercy, teaching us that true vision often comes from the most unexpected places, and that sometimes the most humble beings are those who truly see. The story of Balaam, an episode full of divine teachings and mysteries, culminates in his arrival in Moab, marked by a profound spiritual transformation. Humiliated but now enlightened by the true magnitude of his mission, Balaam arrives in the lands of Balak, where expectations and pressures to curse the people of Israel reach their peak. However, despite Balak's insistent requests, the prophet, following divine instructions, transforms each attempted curse into powerful blessings. 3 times Balak asks Balaam to curse Israel, and 3 times through Balaam's voice, God blesses the people, demonstrating his unwavering protection and favor. This reversal of curses into blessings not only frustrates Balak but also reaffirms the divine will, highlighting a fundamental lesson. God's designs prevail over human machinations. Each blessing pronounced by Balaam reflects the strength of the covenant between God and Israel, serving as a testimony of God's faithfulness and mercy toward those he chooses to protect. In addition to the blessings, Balaam is moved by the Spirit of God to deliver prophecies that transcend the immediate, shedding light on the future of the people involved and even distant nations. These prophecies not only outline the fate of those involved, but also reveal the extent and depth of the divine plan that extends beyond human visions and understandings. Balaam's transformation from a man initially motivated by greed to an instrument of divine revelation illustrates a powerful truth. God can redirect selfish intentions to serve higher universal purposes. This episode teaches us about God's sovereignty in using whoever he wants, often in surprising ways, to fulfill his plans. The story of Balaam and the donkey he spoke of challenges us to reflect on vision and perception. It highlights how appearances can be deceptive and how true obedience to God often requires hearing and seeing beyond what is immediately apparent. In concluding this report, we remember that sometimes God chooses the most unlikely messengers to guide us on the path of justice and truth. May this narrative inspire each of us to seek true vision on our journey through life, always remembering that faithfulness to God brings with it eternal rewards and profound transformations. Thank you for joining us in this biblical exploration, and we hope this study has enriched your understanding of the Holy Scriptures. The episode involving Balaam, Balak, and the talking donkey is not only a narrative of miraculous events, but also a penetrating critique of human power and ambition. Balak, the king of Moab, represents a vivid example of how the desire for power can lead to attempts to manipulate the divine to achieve personal and selfish ends. He summons Balaam, a recognized prophet, hoping to use his prophetic gift to curse Israel, thereby ensuring the security and supremacy of his own kingdom. However, the narrative highlights a fundamental principle. True authority and power emanate from God, and any human attempt to usurp or direct that divine power is not only futile, but often counterproductive. Upon concluding his prophecies and blessings on Israel, Balaam is faced with returning to his homeland, a path that turns into a journey of deep reflection and self-evaluation. This journey is not only physical but also spiritual, as Balaam reflects on the revelations and transformations he has undergone. He recognizes that his former vision was clouded by earthly ambitions and material rewards, obscuring a higher spiritual calling. This personal insight highlights the change from a man driven by greed to someone who deeply understood the ways of God. The theological implications of this story are vast and profound. Firstly, the talking donkey episode, although full of miraculous elements, serves as a powerful metaphor for God's communication with humanity. This event not only challenges our understanding of the possible, but also symbolizes the idea that God can use any element of his creation, however humble or unexpected, to speak to and guide his children. Furthermore, the presence of the angel, initially visible only to the donkey, reinforces the importance of developing a keen spiritual perception, a gift that requires cultivation, attention, and a heart open to divine messages, often transmitted in unusual ways. This biblical account challenges us to reflect on our own perception of the sources of authority and power, and how we can often be blind to God's true ways and wills. It encourages us to seek a deeper and more spiritual understanding of life, recognizing that divine interventions can occur in the simplest and most surprising ways, always guiding us beyond appearances and worldly expectations. As we contemplate Balaam's journey, we are inspired to consider how our own journeys can be enriched and directed by greater sensitivity and obedience to divine guidance. The legacy of Balaam, a prophet whose journey is marked by both controversies and divine revelations, resonates throughout the scriptures as an enduring echo of warnings against greed and corruption. His story, immortalized in several biblical books, serves as a perennial reminder of the need to align our lives with divine plans and resist the temptations that often appear in our path, trying to divert us from the route that God has set for us. In the scriptures, Balaam is often cited as an example of how we should not act. His initial willingness to curse Israel for financial reward is a testimony to the failures that can afflict even those who have been chosen to speak for God. However, Balaam's transformation from a prophet motivated by greed to a vehicle of God's blessings offers a powerful lesson about redemption and the possibility of returning to righteous ways, even after serious mistakes. This persistence of Balaam's story in the biblical tradition highlights a fundamental truth about human nature. We are constantly at risk of being seduced by worldly desires that promise immediate gratification, but in the long run can lead us to our perdition. It is a call to vigilance and introspection, encouraging us to examine the motivations behind our actions and to pursue a life that truly reflects the values and teachings that are divinely inspired. We close our study of Balaam and the talking donkey by extending an invitation to deep reflection on the ways in which we may be neglecting God's signs in our own lives. The story challenges us to consider how we often ignore divine messages simply because they do not conform to our expectations or come from unexpected sources. May this reflection lead us to a greater openness to listen and recognize when God speaks, even if it is through the most surprising or modest means. Thus, we invite each of you to ponder Balaam's lessons, to internalize his message, and to seek a deeper, more authentic connection with the divine in your daily lives. May Balaam's story inspire not only reflection, but also a transformation in how we live and perceive the calls to justice and righteousness in our lives. May we learn to value and follow the path shown to us by God, cultivating a heart and mind that are always attentive and receptive to His guidance and love. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Scriptures. May the lessons explored here resonate in your lives and inspire you to always walk under the guidance of our shared faith.